but better late than never, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for showing up. It has been a really long day, but it's been a long week, and we are excited as hell that the week is almost over. Um, Liz and myself are back this evening to discuss the gratitude jar as well as the fast that will start on January the 1st. And so, hope you guys are well. I think very often that we tend to not acknowledge the things that are most near and dear to our heart, such as
Absolutely.
our friendships, uh, family, clean air, clean water, food, a place to stay, and food to eat. And the list goes on and on. Unfortunately, there are lots of people who don't have those things. The idea behind the gratitude jar is it allows you to take some time out of your day to jot down on a piece of paper what you're grateful for and to place it inside of your jar. Now, I showed you guys the other day the cotton candy container that I had. My nieces and I ate a bunch of candy. Well, we always eat candy when we're together. But this is what I created.
Oh, that
Okay.
is adorable.
Now, I'm not really done yet, okay? But on my gratitude jar, and I think I'm just gonna put a hole in the top so I could just slide my uh, what I'm grateful for. But I have Bible verse, Matthew 7, uh, verse 7. Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open unto you. Okay.
Indeed.
And so I will probably also put pictures and other sayings. I just haven't had time because, I had to get this ready this evening. But this is my gratitude jar. Now, I know that it's not a jar. You could use a
Any
mayonnaise jar, or
so
spaghetti jar, whatever you have. I intend for my blessings to surpass the size of a regular jar. And this is what I'm using. Okay. I know that there will be some who will open their jar at the end of 30 days. I intend not to do that. I will be opening my jar on 12, 22, 23. Whatever floats your boat. I just want to take the time out on the 23rd of 2023 to sit someplace and really spend some time with myself. I'll have a nice cup of tea, be someplace warm and cozy, and take the time out to really appreciate um, what I found to appreciate during the year and to be thankful that I had the opportunity to be blessed with the items that I will be reading from my jar. I wanted to also touch on the podcast webinar, the vision board webinar that I had on the 17th. Um, I had a class of about 15, and the participants really wanted to discuss some topics that they could kind of dissect and come up with
hmm
a tangible action plan to move forward. Because if you guys know anything about me, you know that my motto is why put off for tomorrow what you can get done today. And during the workshop, it allowed us to chisel away some of the hesitation they had around moving forward, whether it be starting a business, writing a book, maybe pushing yourself outside of your four walls to join a community, a project, take a college class, read a book, something. Because in order to get something you've never had, you have to do some things that you've never done.
Something never
And
done.
that's really important. Um, I know that a lot of us have binders and we have notebooks and we have tablets and we have all of these fantastic ideas of what we want to do. However, if you don't take one foot and put it in front of the other and make things happen for yourself, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because you wish it to happen. It's not going to
Right.
happen because you think it should happen. The only time there's progress in your life is when you plant the seeds. And planting the seed means you have an idea, you sit down and create a game plan in which you're going to follow to get you across the finish line. There will be times that you'll fall. It's life. You just pick yourself up and you keep going. There are resources out there that are available for you if you need them. You can always send myself an email. If I can't help you, I will partner with those that will be able to lend you the support that you may need. You can always reach out to Empress Liz. Like, we're here for you. You're not in this alone. Um,
Absolutely.
but you have got to get up and you've got to do something for yourself. It's not going to happen just because you want it to happen. I know that I am expecting big blessings in 2023, and trust me, I'm working on, I've been working on those blessings since January of
Right.
2021. And so as time progresses, I am starting to see the seeds that I've planted bloom, but it's been hard work. My days are long, but my nights are even longer.
Absolutely.
Sleep, what is sleep?
Sleep.
If I have a
I was about to
project
say,
to
no sleep
complete,
for the righteous.
yeah, what is sleep? If I have a project to complete, I don't really want to stop until it's done. I'm the type of person, I don't really do something or give it 50%. If I can't give it 100%, then I don't want to do it, because whatever I do is a reflection of me. And I
Absolutely.
wasn't raised to just do something half-assed, excuse my language. It's either
Absolutely.
you're going to do it or you're not going to do it.
Right.
I also wanted to shout out, I don't know if you guys can see, shout out to all of the people who've reached out to me and want to know if this is a full calendar. Now, keep in mind, when I had these created, I just thought it would be a really cute token of appreciation for those who shown love throughout the year. But I've had so many people reach out to me and want to purchase a calendar. So guess what? Ask and you shall receive. The calendars are in the works right now. I don't know a price, haven't even gotten that far. But I've had so many people call me and text me and email me and say, "Oh my God, Carla, we love the idea. Can we get a full calendar?" So I will give you what you want. Just give me a couple of days and I'll have those prices to all of you guys. Shout out to my sister, Nina Ruffin. Obviously, I sent her one. She sent me a photo back. She enlarged it and put it on her bulletin board at work. So
In her
I thought that was really sweet.
office.
Shout out to my sister.
That's awesome.
Shout out to my sister. Shout out to my sister. So
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Nina Ruffin.
yeah, shout out to
Hallelujah.
Dr. Nina Ruffin, wherever
She's
she may
helping
be. I don't know
people,
what the hell she's doing right now, but she's somewhere working.
helping
But
somebody to do so.
yeah, she's somewhere working, doing something. But I just wanted to say that the gratitude jar it means a lot to us. You know, I'm really thankful for all of the blessings that I've received and for the blessings that are soon to come. So I'm just speaking it in advance. I mean, I am sitting here waiting for blessings that are so big that I'm ready to leave all of the doors of my house open, plus the windows, because honey, they're gonna pour in. I'm making room. I'm cleaning up and I'm making room. So when my blessings come, I'll have somewhere to put them. I have God on alert. There's some things that have to happen and they have to happen. They have got to happen. Now, I know that, what is the saying? He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. I need him now. Yeah, I need him. I need him now. And once again, I'm not waiting
Exactly.
until January the 1st, like I'm telling folks at the vision board class. I'm sorry, guys. It's just been a long day, so it's been a long day. But you know, like I told the folks in the participants in my vision board seminar, you know, you will have some that'll say, "Let's wait till January the 1st," but I don't want to do that. Even if you take time out now to kind of figure out, you know, what you want to do moving forward, you could do that. You can absolutely do that, but you have to have a game plan set in place so that as the ball of progression starts to roll, you'll have some type of format that you can follow, because you have to have an idea. Once you have it jotted down on paper, you might even put it in your notes. If you have a smartphone, which I'm sure most people do, you can also jot it down and you can put it in your notes. Take some time out of your busy day and just think about some things that you want to achieve regarding your vision. but it could be a bookstore or writing a book or whatever the case may be. Sit down and think about some steps that you need to take to move full speed ahead. Obviously, you want to have a time frame, but keep in mind what Liz may do, or Liz's plans for progression will look different from your plans. Don't compare yourself to others, because
Please.
what God has
Right.
for you, He has for you, and no one can take it
Specifically
away from
for
you.
you.
Please, you just
Specifically for
continue
you.
to move full speed ahead for what you have to do. If you fall down, you get back up, you pick yourself off, and you keep moving, because life is about progression. Things are not going to happen because you're cute. Things are not going to happen. They're not, unfortunately.
Does that mean
Uh,
that there's no such thing as pretty privilege?
Not really. Um, Things
I
are
saw
only
something.
going
I
to
saw an article
happen.
about that the other day. That's why I brought that up.
Yeah, things are only going to happen if you are determined to move full
Absolutely.
speed ahead, and you have to have a plan. Like I said, I'm expecting supernatural blessings this year. Right
Absolutely.
now, Liz and I are working on something that is going to blow your mind. My mind is blown every day when I speak to her about, what we're doing. And so, like I said, you have to put the work in. These things are not going to happen just because we want them to happen. We didn't get this far just because this was just an idea and it was something for us to do. Yes, there's still things that we have to learn, and yes, still things that perhaps we could do, better than what we did a few months ago or 2 years ago. But if you don't take steps for progression in your life, then how will things change? Who's going to do it
Really and
for you?
truly. And I mean, there's something to setting short achievable goals. I think you said it best before, when you were saying that part of it
Yeah.
is acknowledging, like I said, I always that's why I always say, when your viewers write in and say, hey, listen, I'm having this situation that I need to change, whether it be on a spiritual level, a physical level, emotional level, whatever life situation has them wanting to change. That expression, knowing is half the battle. That is reality, because you are acknowledging that there is something that you want to change. There's something that you want to do. Oftentimes what happens, there's a yearning in you that makes you want to, like I said, make whatever change it is. And I think that where a lot of us fail, because I know I can definitely speak for myself, certain projects, years ago that I may have not thought through,
Yeah.
clearly enough, that we have to set short, achievable goals. Yes, I want to do X, Y, and Z. What is it going to take for me to get there? And,
Absolutely.
and break that thing down. So one of the things that I do, as I guess I could say, one of my streams of income is as a contractor in hospitality. So I travel to different hotels. I help them out, especially now post COVID. Hospitality was absolutely hit the hardest, because it's not always. Sometimes it's thankless work in certain respects. Most oftentimes people, it's a challenge to even get people to get into the industry,
Yeah.
because they'll say stuff like, I don't want to work at the front desk. I don't want people screaming and hollering at me. But the whole idea, because at this point in my career, I'm, on the sales and marketing side of things. But one of the things that we always keep in mind is that every little piece of business chips away at the goal. So
Yeah.
when I have, like, for instance, I was doing Indian weddings. That was my market. I had a $2.25 million annual goal, and I literally had to not only break that thing down into four quarters, but I also, within that quarter, I had to break it down into subgroups almost, because even as now, right? So where I am now, and we have a goal for first quarter. So now that is the goal. Each piece of business, we analyze it. There's certain programs, if you will, that we treat as the base. Okay, we may take this as the base, and that is the catalyst for how we price out or how we do business after that, to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
So that is something to just bear in mind, that whatever it is, whether it is, like I said, your eating habits, whether it is starting an exercise regimen, whether it is, I want to change my career. I really am interested in doing something new. And sometimes especially in the realm of career changes, you may have to start at an entry level. And what is that going to look like, for you? So, we got to really start breaking things down into more palatable and short-term goals. And I just want to say something else because it reminds me of how when we talk about natural living and maintaining optimal health, one of the things that, again, that Meadow Queen stresses and that we in turn stress is that small changes bring large improvement. Oftentimes we want to do something, and because we live in such a disposable microwave quick society,
Mhm.
think that when we have to put work in, it's something that we don't look forward to. But that hard work, there's a reward, that comes with not necessarily hard work but smart work. And
Yeah.
that's something to keep in mind and consider as well.
I want to dare the viewers to think about something that they've never done and kind of moving forward in the days to come to
Right.
embrace that. So, once again, maybe it's taking a class. You could take a class online. You don't even have to leave your home, or contributing your time, some spare time, to a community event because the
Right.
kids need us. The kids need us. Volunteering at the church, helping out at a convalescent home, just doing something where you can make a difference. And it doesn't have to be anything heavy or huge, but when we look outside of our four walls to make a difference, the people that you will meet will blow your mind because
Absolutely.
you're not going to meet those people sitting at home. You're
No.
not.
No.
You're not.
No.
You're not going to meet those people sitting at home. And so
No.
I challenge you guys to do something in the next few days that will lead us into the new year that you never done before. And I can tell you from myself, I am now in a community. I don't know if it's called a workshop, or I don't know. I've just joined a community.
You've created one too.
Yeah, I've created a community, but I've joined a community group who they provide stability for children. They provide stability for our seniors. They provide a foundation for the young adult. And I've only attended one meeting, but it was really fun. I had a good time and I met some very interesting people. And some of those people that I met, I am almost certain that I would have never met them unless it was online. Because I've met
Exactly.
some really cool people online. I've met some really, really cool people, and I'm thankful for the internet because some of the folks that I've met, I would have never met them because, I can't say that I hang out in Alaska because I don't. But I've met some wonderful people from all over the world, and it's been a blessing. And so I'm thankful for that. But I'm also interested in stepping outside of my comfort zone. And not that I have a problem meeting people because I don't, but making time in my schedule to stop what I'm doing and join someone else's bandwagon because I have enough going on my own. But to put all my stuff down and to do something with someone else, and it was fun.
And I kind of want to chime in on that too, in terms of making time. I had a conversation earlier today with one of the women that I'm working with on this project, and we were talking about eating and food and different things like that. That's right up my alley.
I
How
know.
the conversation started is that she started sneezing. Now, um, it clearly was not. And I mean, I know people are probably saying, "How could she tell the difference?" But I can tell allergy related type sneezes versus somebody is like coming down with something. There's a different way when people are responding to like stuff in the air that
Yeah.
causes them that sneezing sensation, right? So I'm telling her about like bee pollen and things like that. So for any of you, if you are someone that you suffer from like allergies, and I'm talking about like the itchy eyes, the runny nose, or like that sneezy thing, and it has to do with environmental, like the weeds and things like that. Um, some of the things that you can do, first of all, peppermint and dandelion, I believe, is a great combination for that. But also raw honey, local wildflower honey that's raw, local to your area, that
That
has
sounds good.
oh, it's delicious. Can't keep enough of it because between my children, my grandchildren, us eating it almost on a daily basis. I travel with bee pollen and raw honey. And the whole idea of it is that, you consume it, it allows you to, it's like a natural antihistamine is what I'm trying to say. So we were talking about that. And then she goes, yeah, my daughter's vegetarian, but she's not vegan.
Um,
Okay, so I said, I'm glad you brought that up because I remember when that term became, those two terms became something different. So I said, well, what is the difference? I wanted to hear her input. And she was saying about, oh, well, she eats cheese and she eats, I said, well, she's not vegetarian because cheese, dairy, it's not like a soy cheese or, any kind of vegan cheese because there are. Um, I'm like, that's not, she's not vegetarian. No, well, she doesn't eat meat. Right. She doesn't eat meat, but she eats eggs and cheese. So she's not vegetarian. So just to kind of put that out there. So that conversation prompted, she eats processed vegetarian food. So
mm,
again, I try to maintain my patience, but the conversation then turned to time. And I said to her, I said, there's 24 hours in a day, right? We have to be strategic about our time. We're strategic so much to a fault about our time when it's something we want to do. But when it's something that we should do, or something at some point in our lives that we have to do, there's this resistance of I don't have
like
time.
pulling teeth. Yes, like pulling
Right.
teeth.
So again, like I said to her, I speak with authority on that because I raised 5 children. I had not a regular job. I had a job that I had to go to that punched a clock. And then I had about maybe 2 or 3 other streams of income that were independent, that were my creative talents, that I had to accommodate and be present for 5 human beings. Now, on top of all of that, again, we were vegetarian at the time. So there was no there was no processed vegetarian food. Maybe the Boca Burger, not the Boca Burgers, the Morning Star were one of the first people that had like
Yeah,
the
they were.
black bean burgers and stuff. But they were so expensive. I couldn't afford it even if I wanted to. So, what it did was I had to come home and cook several nights a week because again, as I always stress to you guys, when you are eating organic, plant-based foods, you cannot have them 3 and 4 days in a row. Because they begin to lose their potency and their nutrients. And this is why I am not a proponent of bottled alkaline water. We have to start getting back to making time to do these things. Now, that doesn't mean that, you can't do some sort of meal prep. Um, what I don't do is I don't juice and then drink it the next day. No,
Yeah, that's
I,
horrible.
you can't do it because there's a process because there's
It
still
breaks down.
science
Yeah,
involved in this
yeah,
thing where when you're juicing something, it does something to that. There's a process to that. So
yeah,
you have to get it while the nutrients are potent.
yeah,
So I say all of that to say this: be strategic with your time. Most often when you meet, health crusaders, people that we are into natural living, we are
Mhm.
very mindful of meditation and working out and things like that. We do those things early in the day, or you make a time, and it doesn't have to be this long drawn out time. Like I said, when I had my little, I keep calling it my little COVID job. When I had my job during the shutdown, again, I was not making a lot of money. um I was working in an area that there weren't places to go to, because see, the benefit of now as opposed to then,
Yeah.
25, 30 years ago, is that you can go to or clean food, fast food establishments. That sounds like such an oxymoron, but in all honesty, you can go to really good juice bars that will have good salads and good natural organic vegetarian food, but it's expensive still.
Mhm.
So, I found myself saying, listen, I'm not going to sit in that. First of all, I'm not spending my money ordering it through a delivery service that by the time I get it, it's not going to taste the way I want it to taste. It may not be made the way I ordered it, because you're taking those chances as well. But at the same time, I couldn't afford it. So what I did was I literally added, like I said, another 20 to 30 minutes to my time. I like coffee. So I had my coffee, I had my, my little non-dairy yogurt parfaits in my little containers. Sometimes I would make avocado, like I would get buns, like rolls, and make avocado bread. It wasn't toasted because I don't want the bread to be hard, but things like that. And so what it did was, I felt great. I wasn't overeating. I knew what I was eating because I made it. And the thing about it too is that when we begin to, and I say this to a lot of people who say, I don't have time. You have the time. You got to make the time. And when we start looking at, like I said, going to the quickest thing or the nearest thing, we end up eating the wrong thing. So, you know, we have to just invest more in ourselves. And again, that comes with strategically working your time and making the most of it. A lot of times, especially like with you and I, like we are super constantly busy, right? But
Yeah.
yet you'll reach out to me in the morning and say, hey, listen, today's the day we're going to do XYZ. And when I just got off a call right before you, right before we came on, I was just on another hour and a half call, and I had to prepare even for that. So I always put in my mind, okay, look, I have to make the most of this 10-minute period of time, or this 15-minute period of time, because I guarantee you we make time for the things that we want to do, and sometimes those things don't always serve us well. One more thing, and then I'm going to stop chiming, or chime a little lower.
Yeah.
Um, I was speaking to someone the other day. We had a little potluck at the job. It's the holiday season, right? And so as we were preparing for it, the general manager said, well, who in this room doesn't eat pork? And I was the only little finger that went up. And they were like, he said, okay, well, he said, I'm not going to make whatever dish it was. I can't remember what dish it was. He said, okay, I won't make my dish with pork. I'll just put bacon in it. And I said, listen, I said, because he was trying to be sarcastic, but I said to him, listen, I said, prepare your food the way you prepare your food. If there is something here for me to eat, I'll eat it. If not, I'll have something else somewhere else, you know? And I mean, fortunately, the one of the young ladies, I had mentioned that I like Filipino vegetable pancit. So I was super excited and happy about that, because that's one of my favorite dishes, pancit, with the noodles and such. But the whole idea of it was, there was a young lady who said, you notice we don't really have any vegetables other than the vegetables that are in those noodles. And really nobody's eating that, which wasn't true because everybody had it on their plate. And so she goes, I don't eat vegetables. Young girl too, like young. And she goes, I just don't eat vegetables, and I gotta hide them and all this stuff. And I looked at her, I said, well, You may not want to eat them now, but you may have to eat them later. So if I were you, I would develop a relationship with vegetables. I would reacclimate, like I always suggest to people, reacclimate yourself to the produce aisle. Do not get yourself in a position where you have to eat some things that have, that you neglected for whatever reason. Maybe you have some sort of trauma attached to your
Maybe she just
vegetables.
wasn't
But
introduced to vegetables when she was
and
younger.
and I get it, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
never
crazy.
forget, a lot of people, I'm not sure how, to what age, the viewers are, but there was an actor named John Wayne. He was a big Western movie actor, I guess from like the 50s, old movies. I used to watch a lot of his
Yeah,
movies with my dad.
me too.
And this man died of cancer. He died of lung cancer. And as people are now coming to really understand that healing starts in the colon, Meadow Queen taught us that 30 years ago. Hence colon sweep, get your colon sweep.
Hmm.
And so the idea of it, he donated his body to science. He had like 72 pounds of fecal waste in his body. Now, that number may be off. It may sound a little extravagant, but remember, we have about 27 feet of colon in our body. Now, our colon is very, our intestines are very, you know, um, elaborate. And so he donated his body to science. And again, the numbers may not be verbatim, so you can Google it. John Wayne donated his body to science, and it will tell you how much fecal matter was found in his body. And he was someone that was notorious for saying that he was a meat and potatoes man. A meat and potatoes man. If you are someone that your plate looks bland, you need to color your plate. Like I said, I never beat people up about what they eat. If you want to have a steak, you want to have a pork chop, that's on you. But you better have some fresh vegetables with it. You better do a nice salad with it. And you better have some sort of digestive enzyme, whether that be some green tea, post an orange, post some pineapple, post. But the whole idea of it is that if you're gonna consume it, you better properly eliminate it.
So, we got some mail in. It's pretty late. We're late. We apologize.
Everybody's on vacation right about now anyway. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to work.
We got an email from Ted. We got an email from Evilise, from Ravid, Tammy, John, and Beatrice.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, and so I know that we're going to bring you back before the end of the year so we can talk about meal preparation.
Yes.
We can
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
meal preparation. We can talk
Yes.
about some easy peasy breakfast ideas,
Very much
some
so.
easy peasy lunch ideas, and
Mhm.
some easy peasy dinner and I guess snack ideas.
Dinner. Well,
I don't know.
any type of snacks. My go-to snacks are always raw, unsalted nuts and seeds. So you're gonna do for you gentlemen, you want to make sure that you are eating raw and unsalted walnuts for your prostate health. Um,
Oh,
we all want to make sure that we are getting at least a good handful of raw unsalted sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. They have to
I
be
love
raw
those.
and unsalted, and those are parasite killers. Those will serve as detoxifiers. They act as fiber even. So you want to make sure that those are the
No
things I
salt.
snack.
No salt.
Raw and unsalted, you get the best benefit. Now, excuse
Oh,
me. I also see. I like I said, I love those. I'm glad I don't have a nut allergy. And again, if you are someone that has a nut allergy, then of course you might want to snack on fruit or something of that nature. And again, I'll have other suggestions. I have been putting together. I have been connecting with all of the health crusaders that their specialties are recipes and things like that.
yeah.
So I will have not just the ones that I use, but that I make, but others that people have been so willing to share in preparation of this. I also wanted to just let any of you know, again, if you are looking to participate, even if you say, hey, Empress, I'm not going to do it the entire month. I want to commit to maybe 2 days a week, 1 day a week. I would love to hear from you. I want to hear your testimony as to how great you're feeling, because I'm telling you, you are going to start feeling, you're going to see difference. You're going to see a difference. And you may say, oh, it's not going to make a difference just one day. I guarantee you, if you take 1 day and you do not eat any cooked food, you get up, you have your overnight oats, or you do a non-dairy yogurt. Be careful with granola. Granola is cooked, it's baked, and it has a lot of sugar. So I don't do granola at all. Usually what I do that I want to crunch or something in my yogurt, I'll put hemp seeds, chia seeds, or flaxseed. You can do that. Or you could just put, like I said, some raw and salted pumpkin seeds and things like that. I am beginning to prepare my body, as I would encourage you all, like I said, to start preparing your body. So if you are going to at least maybe start the first week or the first few days, I would encourage you to not have any sugary snacks. You might want to start weaning yourself if you're someone that you drink sugary drinks or sugary snacks. You want to start weaning yourself, because what's going to happen is you will get a caffeine sugar withdrawal headache.
Mhm.
And it is a nagging little throbbing little, yeah, you will get that. And especially coffee drinkers, because I won't be drinking coffee. I will be doing my alkaline. I will be doing my water that I
Okay.
alkalize rather. So you want to do your room temperature water with your lemon squeeze in it. If you are someone that you have a juicer or a bullet or whatever, you
Yeah,
want to
I have one.
chop up. You can soak ginger. You can infuse your water with ginger, lime. You can infuse it with peppermint leaves, things like that. So let's be
You see
creative.
this? You
Yes,
see
I
this?
love it. And so I will be so today is Thursday, Friday. So Sunday I will be preparing my body. So I won't be consuming. I'm going to start doing maybe 2 raw meals just to start prepping my body. I've already not been drinking well, I don't really drink sugary drinks anyway. I think the most that I would drink that would even kind of come close is pineapple juice, that I put in my meadow greens. Thank you, Meadow Queen, and my colon
Hey, Metal
sweet.
Queen.
I, yep.
Um,
Shout out to the Meadow
so
Queen.
shout out to the Metal Queen. We love you.
Yes, we
Uh,
do.
Evilise. And okay, so it was a pretty lengthy email.
Okay.
Uh, she stated that she went to the doctor and they said she had arthritis or signs of arthritis in her knees.
Yes.
She said that she gained the COVID, what is it, the COVID 15, but some people gain more than that. So she gained some weight. She's
Hmm.
working on losing weight. She goes to the gym. She
Hmm.
works out.
Right.
Um, we didn't gain weight overnight. So you're not going to lose it overnight. So it's a progress. It's a process. I'm sorry.
Right.
However, she said her knees are bothering her a lot.
Okay. Okay.
The and I'm just kind of reading through this again because I read it earlier. Um, she has knee pain in both knees, but
Okay.
it's a throbbing pain in the left side when she walks up the stairs and down the stairs. So she doesn't feel it if it's a straight surface, a flat surface, or
Right.
she's
So she's
not
on an
up the
incline.
stairs. Yeah.
Right. Because she's
Uh,
exerting herself more.
yeah. So I don't know what.
No, I can. When I mean, if there's nothing more, I can definitely chime in. So Evilise, first of all, thank you for contacting Carla regarding this issue. Yes, there is help available. What you need to first make sure that you are doing is drinking a lot of water. That's the first thing you want to
What
do,
is a
right?
lot? What is a lot?
Well, I think the recommendation is like half your body weight. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that that's what the recommendation is, because a
Yeah.
lot of times they take 8 glasses, 8-ounce glasses a day. I believe there's been more research done on that subject in terms of the amount of water one should drink, and I believe it is like half your body weight,
Okay.
somewhere around that. Um, but another thing that you want to do. So first of all, what's happening is that your body is accumulating acid. So your body is accumulating excess acid, especially if your doctor has diagnosed you with a pre-arthritic condition.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
you want to make sure that you take care of it, because what ends up happening when acid or uric acid builds up in the body, right? You start to get the pain, right? That's that
Throbbing. Mm-hmm.
throbbing pain. You get the stiffness. Then it starts to be arthritis. Then it starts to build up and start to become plaque.
Oh.
Oftentimes, it can turn into several different things. It can turn into ketoacidosis, where before it
Oh.
gets to ketoacidosis, it'll turn into eczema. So, for all
Oh.
you people that have eczema, yes, there is a cure for that too.
Oh.
But again, what she wants to do is she wants to stay, Evilise, right?
Yes, Evilise.
What you want to do is you want to stay away from cooked corn, cooked
Oh.
spinach. You want to stay away from any kind of carbonated sugary drinks. And you want to give your body a break from having to get rid of or process all of those things, those starchy things, and those things that are causing acid buildup. So,
Okay, stop right there. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's what you just said was crazy, not in a bad way. She said that she had been going to folks' homes during this holiday season. She loves seafood. She's been eating lots of seafood boils that consist of corn. Now, hold on. She said that she takes her lunch. I mean, this is all in the email, so she takes her lunch and she'll have a baked meat, like a baked chicken, and
very good.
she'll have spinach, however, she puts it in the microwave. So you just named two things. You just named corn, because what I did was I dissected her email and I figured you would want to know what she was eating. So I have all this stuff written out. You just said stay away from corn. She said that she was eating corn in her seafood boils. You said stay away
And they
from
have
spinach.
potatoes in them too, typically.
Yeah. Potatoes and corn and
But the difference with when you're looking at seafood boils, the difference between, like, because we wouldn't really recommend she do a lot of starchy. So like if she wanted to do rice, she should do like steamed rice. Like maybe get one of those rice, because when you get the rice cookers, that steams the rice. So that's a lot healthier.
what about whole grain?
Yeah, whole
Wild
grain.
rice, wild rice.
I absolutely love wild rice. I think wild
Okay.
rice is really good, but again, it's the process with which we cook it.
Oh,
And then with the potatoes in a boil, it's boiling the potatoes, so it's not like she's eating a French fry or something like that. But she needs to be
okay.
careful of too many starchy foods, and especially refined carbohydrates. She's got to stay away from the refined carbohydrates, because what happens is that beats up the pancreas, that turns into sugar and starch in your bloodstream. So
So what are
most
defined carbohydrates?
refined
I mean,
carbohydrates, like if you're
she.
doing like French fries or boxed mashed potatoes, those mashed potatoes
Oh
that
my
come in a little
gosh.
packet, instead of boiling some potatoes and making real mashed potatoes with,
She said that she loved
cream
French
butter and
fries.
salt and pepper.
So she said that.
And microwaving is an absolute no,
Mhm.
no. So if you have to bring a lunch to work and you're relying on a microwave, right? Because I'm telling you, I don't have a microwave in my house. I have an air fryer that I don't
I
even
have one
use
and
on
I
the
haven't used it in
fry.
a long
I don't
time.
even use it on the fry function. I use it on the roast and the bake and the reheat function. But if you're at work and your lunch needs to be put in a microwave, right? I would recommend, first of all, I would say probably not use it. Try to, maybe bring a salad or something that doesn't need to be reheated. But if you can't get around it and you want to reheat your lunch, get a glass container, and really try not to over nuke it, because again, it is stripping your meal of its nutrients. That is not serving, it's not serving you. Another thing you might want to consider as well, that I take this constantly. This is part of my regimen. I do flaxseed. Um, the flaxseed is definitely good for, just like the lubrication whenever you have like arthritis and things like that. She can do wheat germ that oxidizes the blood. And again, that would eliminate, again, like I said, free radicals. Actually, that was a conversation I was having with someone else, but free radicals. And it
What about
also,
chia seeds?
oh, that superfood. Yeah, definitely.
I'm just
Definitely.
writing all this stuff down because I don't know if she's watching.
Right.
Um,
Well, so you're going to respond to her email. And another thing, like I said, you want to drink, you want to alkalize your own water. Again, you can easily Google it. You can do it with lemon, or you can do it with baking soda. What you want to do is you want to make it you don't want to have it more than 48 hours. So
can
don't
you
make
put lime in your water? Also, lemon limes?
um I don't know. I've never done it with lime. I'm sure that it wouldn't. I do it with lemon, and it, most often the research that I've done and that I've been exposed to, it's been done with lemon.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would just recommend doing it definitely with the lemon. Please stay away from the bottled processed alkaline waters. Again, alkaline water usually loses potency after 48 hours. So
Okay.
just like when we do our juicing and things like that, you want to get the maximum benefit from it. So you don't want to make too much where you're not drinking it, right? So kind of gauge what that amount would be. But like I said, for breakfast, you want to not do even cooked oatmeal at this stage. At this stage, you don't want to do the cooked oatmeal either. You want to do, like I said, maybe do some fruit, some non-dairy yogurts. I know that there is a very popular brand of almond milk that makes almond non-dairy yogurt. It is the bomb. It is delicious. I absolutely love it. And then you can, there's another brand that I cannot remember off the top of my head. I know it's like a lavender and white container, and they make non-dairy coconut milk based yogurt. It
Is it
is
in a glass jar?
no, I don't know. This one's
Oh,
not in glass. It's not in a glass jar. It is in it does come in a plastic container, but
okay.
I
I've
love
never
it.
seen that.
You can get the plain one and season it with some honey and some
Yeah,
fruit.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that one I found when I was looking for alternative yogurts, because the yogurts that I was eating had excessive amounts of sugar. It was like 12 grams of sugar. And I'm like, wait. So when I did my sugar-free fast, I did it for 21 days. We went without sugar. That was a challenge, and that's another time that I began making my salad dressings, because again, yeah, I'm having this great healthful, and I always say high calorie, because again, if I'm going to do like root vegetables and radish and like
Mhm.
horseradish, onions and things like that. So there's a lot of things that go into my salads. But trust me, that's probably going to be my dinner. I may only have that one meal a day. I'll do a breakfast. I always do a breakfast. I always encourage people to eat a breakfast. It is called break fast for a reason. I remember once I did a fast. This was a couple of years ago, and then I went to my doctor, regular checkup, and I'm bragging about the weight that I lost during this fast. And I happened to mention to him that I didn't really do carbohydrates. I don't even think that the vegetables that I was eating at the time, because I was actually in California. I know there was a conversation that I had with my doctor about carbohydrates, and he kind of flipped. He was like, "You have to remember that carbohydrates are your fuel. So we
Yeah.
don't want the refined carbohydrates, the pastas, the different things like that, or like the whole grain pastas and things like that. But we do want the carb rich vegetables. We want the good carbohydrates. So just keep that in mind. I know that like I said, there was some information that was brought to my attention that encouraged people to not eat for like the first 5 or 6 hours. Again,
Yeah.
I don't recommend that. I understand when you wake up, you're not always necessarily hungry. Like I hear people say all the time, I'm not ready to eat when I get up. Well, neither am I. But once I take my shower and I'm getting ready and I'm starting to think about my day, yeah, my appetite is starting to come into play. And so we have to make sure that we're paying attention and we're nourishing our body, and that the food that we're eating is fueling us and not making us fall asleep. Like, not, you're eating this heavy lunch and then you like dozing at the desk at 3 o'clock. So you want to eat foods that are going to be nutritive, that are going to be able to give you, like I said, the fuel that you need. Because if you are not consuming the correct, the good carbohydrates, you are going to see it reflected in your blood sugar. And for any of you guys that are diabetic, what do you concern yourself with your A1C levels, right? You want to make sure that your glucose levels are not spiking or not plummeting, because it's going to send your body into crisis. So, Evilise, again,
Mhm.
at this point where you are, you want to, as Meadow Queen, this is another expression that she shares with us. You want to arrest your condition. So, like I said, when you get up, you drink your water. If you have to keep, a glass of water or something by your bed, or however you need to do it,
Mhm.
make sure you get adequate amounts of water. Right now, you want to stay away from cooked spinach, cooked corn, cooked oats, just until we get you stabilized. We don't. Now, another thing I want you to be mindful of too is find out how much you weigh, because part of that pain also is not just the acid. I always know when I start to put on weight, because I end up feeling it in my leg. So
Mm.
each of our bodies, like, we always talk about body mass index. We always talk about how, you know, um, how much we weigh.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, this is not about body shaming. This is about health. So how I can tell sometimes when people are overweight, or their body frame cannot support their weight, you can always look at their limbs, look at their legs, you can look at their arms, and how sometimes you'll see that, like, the bony part of the limb, right? It just it you could see that it's not supporting the weight. The meat usually hangs like down. And again, I'm not trying to body shame anybody. I'm just trying to make sure that people are empowered to maintain
Oh,
optimal health. I know big people that are healthy. Skinny doesn't mean healthy, but we want to make sure that you are aware of the optimal weight for your body frame. Because if not, if you're, look, I'm 5'5", 250 pounds does not look good on me. It don't. And it didn't feel good on me either. And 2016, I blew up to 250 pounds. That was much more than any of my highest pregnancy weight. And the
can
main,
you can you leave your email address? Because there's a lot that you've said to her.
Mhm.
Perhaps she can also
She can
email you for
definitely,
further
I
assistance.
would love to set up a call with her. I have no problem doing that. I can answer her email if you want to forward it to me. Anyone that's listening, I can
I
be
will.
Dawn at the Oasis. Dawn, like the break of day, like revelation,
Mhm.
at the Oasis, place of refreshing, OASIS at gmail.com. Again, if you are interested in participating in the Raw Food Rejuvenation 2K23 fast, whether it be for a week, a day, you want to know more about it, you want to observe us doing it, please reach out to me. Like I said, my goal is to, empower people. I mean, this is, something that is, I'm
I have
not new
another
to it.
question for you.
Okay.
Um, this question doesn't have a name. I'm not quite sure who it came from, but the viewer wants to know, how long are your locks? We get lots of questions about
Again.
this. How long are your
Okay, I'm
locks?
gonna just do this. I'm just gonna do that. Wait, wait. Okay, wait. Where's my camera? Okay, so here they are. I guess they're like, I just to like
Down to
almost to
your
the
knee.
backs of my knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, like about
Okay.
somewhere there. Yeah.
So, okay, that was part one of the part two part. There's a two-part question that was part one. The
Okay.
second part is, what do you put in your hair so that it stays strong?
Well, part of that is eating. Okay, because it's liberty is an inside out thing, right? So I was recently connected with this health crusader, as I refer to. Shout out to Chef Babette. This woman, oh my god,
I've
she's in
seen
her
her. I've
70s.
seen her on the
She's
internet. She's fantastic.
absolutely gorgeous. I mean, and again, it's an inside out thing. I don't know her full story, but what I gleaned from part of her testimony, her story, is that she did have a troubled childhood growing up.
Yeah.
She had I think asthma, like excessive asthma and eczema. But she grew up in a household with family members that were Adventists, that even though they were vegetarian, they were eating like frozen vegetables, that kind of thing. However, it was her introduction to eating
Healthy
a
living.
plant-based diet,
Mhm.
right? So I guess so again, I'm condensing this woman's life.
Yeah.
So again, she was saying as she got older and was able to make more conscious choices for herself, she and getting diagnoses from the doctor, especially us, we get diagnoses from doctors and they write us off. They don't give us, and that's just what it is. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna put it out there. So she got tired, and that's one of the things that, as Meadow Queen being my mentor and teacher, is that we always encourage people to get that second opinion, be proactive about your health, and don't accept your condition. And I say that to all of you who have diabetes. I say it to all of you that have eczema. I say it to all of you that have eczema, asthma, diabetes, and vitiligo. I have seen Meadow Queen heal and cure people of vitiligo. And this is not about shaming. Yes, be comfortable in your skin, be comfortable in who you are, because that is the beginning pathway of healing. But don't accept a condition that can be healed. Now, it may not be healed overnight. And another thing that we learned from it, and I always say we because I'm talking about my sister and the other health crusaders and herbalists that we have learned under the tutelage of Meadow Queen, and others, is that you don't want to accept your condition. Healing is not an event. We have become accustomed to taking a pill and 3-4 days later it's done, or
Mhm.
taking pills for the rest of our lives, and then
Yeah,
20 years
that's a lot.
later we're having renal failure. Do you know that the dialysis business is one of the up and coming booming businesses now, because so many people have chronic conditions, they're taking medications, they're not detoxifying liver and kidneys, and they're suffering renal failure. I'm just saying, like,
Mm.
we do not have to accept our condition, but we have to bear in mind two things. And Meadow Queen posted this today about peace starts in the mind. We always say healing starts in the mind. It starts in the mind. We've been giving every fruit bearing seed as medicine. Every. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you get to a place, like I said, for that question, because I know I'm gonna step down off the soapbox. As far as my hair, to keep it strong, it has less to do what I put on it and more to do with what I put in me. Okay, I try to make sure that, especially at my age, that I have that I'm doing my collagen. I'm making sure that I'm eating right. I'm making sure that I'm doing certain supplements. And again, we have to find that sweet spot for ourselves. My regimen may not work for you.
Yeah.
However, again, in the case of Evilise, I can say to her, listen, you have pain in your legs, you put on weight, and
Yeah.
this is why that's happening, and you need to do this, that, and the other to start achieving a measure of of healing. And
Comfortability.
then
Yeah.
once you get to that place, you have to maintain it. For all of you people that are getting cancer diagnoses and you're fighting that, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to do radiation and chemotherapy. Okay, if that's what you're going to do, you better be drinking your sea greens, you better be drinking your beet juice, you better be doing those things to offset what those chemicals are doing. My dad had cancer of the larynx. And I mean, we've lost him, but we didn't lose him to the cancer. And the first thing we did, we had Meadow Queen put a program together. Every day he got uh, kale, beets, and red delicious apple. We couldn't give him ginger because anytime, you know that if you go through like any kind of surgical procedures or things like that, ginger makes the blood platelets less sticky, so it doesn't, your blood doesn't clot up as much. So that's why we didn't give him that, but we gave him acidophilus, which is a probiotic, which
Mhm.
restored the flora to his stomach, so
Mhm.
he never threw up. He did
Mm.
not lose his hair. So this is what I'm saying. We have to understand that it has to do more with what we're putting in our bodies than what we're putting on our
Yeah,
bodies.
that's deep.
Not, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, hair, skin, nails. I mean, it is what we are putting in our bodies.
So I have other questions here, but we're going to save some of them for another time. But we're gonna end this with a question from John, and John wants to know what type of programs, workshops do I have planned in the coming year for not only women but for men as well. Well, John, that is a really good question.
Well,
Um,
I have a question to ask John real quick. What would you like to see in a workshop that is for, men and women? That might be something, it might be something pressing on you.
yeah,
And I'm glad he actually asked that question because, I had a conversation a few years back. I was asked to be part of a prison outreach and whatnot, and bringing kind of attention to
yeah.
families that have, loved
Loved
ones
ones incarcerated.
incarcerated, getting ready to be paroled, that whole process.
Hmm.
And I said to one of the brothers, I said, I really would like to, have audience with some of, to talk to the brothers. And,
Yeah,
the whole idea is, no, they don't want to hear you. They don't want to hear from you. But you know what? We're mothers. Like, we're mothers. We mother sons. So there has to be, yes, I may not be able to understand the totality of being a man because I'm not a man, right?
right.
But at the same time, I have sons. I've raised sons. I'm raising grandsons. And so there has to be a measure that we have dialogue together. Like, there has to be. So I pose the question to you, John, what type of workshop would you like us to have for men? How
Well,
to
it's
understand
interesting.
us better,
Yeah,
how to communicate with us. Like, what would you think about?
it's interesting, John, because I have spoke to some males, and I'm still speaking to men that I would love to bring on so that they can share their stories. Because originally, I'm My Sister's Keeper was dedicated for the well-being of women, but if we talk about community, we can't talk about a community without
I'm
men.
including our men.
We can't talk about a community without men, and it was never intentional, right? It was
Right,
never intentional.
right.
But now is the time for us to bring men on board. And so I had two gentlemen. Well, I have more than that because I have Philip, I had Shannon, I had Arthur. So I've had men, but recently I had on Roy and Chico. Roy spent
Brother.
20 years in a federal prison, and Rico spent 18 years in a state prison. I may have that information wrong. And guys, if you're watching this, I am so sorry. Okay. But I know in total between the two, they spent 38 years incarcerated. I know
And
that.
we need to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, and so we have a conversation, and
Mhm.
we're on podcast, and then you can also check my YouTube page, and you will find us there. They have very moving stories to tell about who they are, what happened in the middle, and how they came out on the end. But
Right.
anyway, guys,
I
we
think
love
that
you.
that's important. I just want to finish with this. I think that
Yeah.
that is super important on many levels.
Hmm.
I also think that, we need to even shed more light on the effects that it has on the family and the
Yeah,
loved ones
that's what we're working on now.
that are
That's what we're
doing,
working on
that
now.
essentially are doing the time with loved ones, what we have to go through, because I have been in this equation before, especially through the parole process. And this is not to malign anyone. This is to just bring attention to how to navigate, these
We're
unfortunate
kind of
situations.
working on that now. We want to bring all parties involved of that
Exactly.
scenario to the
Right.
forefront to tell their stories, because we all know that when you have a loved one that's incarcerated, everyone that's involved with that loved one is incarcerated to some shape, form,
Absolutely.
or fashion. So we love you guys. We
Love you
appreciate
all.
it. I know
Mhm.
that we were a tad bit late, but better late than
Better
never.
late than never.
You will see us again before the new year, but if you don't see us before Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas, we are sending love to you and your
Absolutely.
families. Enjoy yourself and be safe. We'll see you
Exactly.
soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, y'all.